Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Karishma Connect and a very happy Republic Day to every Indian out there. Here's my Republic Day special, episode 135. I'm counting down to 150, so if you've got a story, please don't forget to get in touch with me. Speaking to me in this episode is Pandit Ronu Majumdar, a renowned Indian flutist who has contributed significantly to the Indian and Western classical music scene, having recently also won a Guinness World Record. He's collaborated with several legends such as the late Ustad Zakir Hussain, R.D. Burman, Kishore Kumar, Asha Bhosle, and the likes. He talks to me about that journey, about why success is beyond accolades, about what it is like to work with such legends and what makes a legend. There is so much to learn in this interview, and he also plays the flute for me, which is truly a mesmerizing experience. So go check it out, and until the next one, stay tuned. This is Karishma. I'll be back yet again. Tada.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's a pleasure to have you. It's an honor, and I'm so grateful to see this happen. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Namaskar, Karishma. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, the first question I ask, and I know it's a long journey to summarize, but just for my audiences to understand what you have built over the years, can you tell me about your journey so far?
The journey has been very exciting, very colorful, very musical, struggles, everything. So I was born in Varanasi, and my father was not a full-time flute player like me, and he played flute as a hobby. So obviously he was my first guru, uh, guruji, and teacher. So there's a funny story in my childhood that while playing with the flute like a toys, I broke many flutes. And as a punishment, my father asked me to, he said that you broke 6 flutes, so you have to practice 6 hours. That's how the passion started. My love with the instrument. So I started practicing. Then we came to Mumbai because of my father's homeopathic journey. We came to Mumbai and I found my main guru, Pandit Vijay Raghav Rao. And then I started playing, learning very, very intensely. And he was a great guru. He's no more with us. He passed away in 2011. So it so happened that I played that famous song of Asia that time. Mrs. Indira Gandhi was our PM. So after Swagatam, that Asiad 82 song is played by me. So I was introduced to my grand guru, Bharat Ratna Pandit Ravi Shankar. And then I started learning from him as well. So I became that name I got in my life, that he is a disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankar, the grandfather of Indian music. So, and then I got my first prize in 1981 in All India Radio Competition. And that is where our Panchamda, R.D. Burman, the greatest music director, found me. And then I started playing in all the film songs right away from Yaad Aa Rahi Hai, uh, original love story of Kumar Gaurav, first film. And then so on, I played till the end with him. I never left him. So this is kind of, in a small few words, my journey. Very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Thank you so much for sharing it with me, sir. Like I said, it's an honor, and I can't wait to learn more from it. We recently heard about Ustad Zakir Hussain, so I would like to start from there. You have had the opportunity to also play with him. What are some of the things you've learned from having played with such great stalwarts over time?
Ustadji was more of my brother, so I would call him Zakir Bhai. So, mm, first album that Zakir Bhai played with me was Heart to Heart from Plus Music. So that became super hit. And then Zakir Bhai's closeness with me started so much that he was composing for a film, Merchant Ivory's film In Custody. And I played in the film with Zakir Bhai also, where he was music director. And then Little Buddha, and then Mr. and Mrs. Iyer. Uh, so I enjoyed the memorable moment with Zakir Bhai is that he was having such blessing of Almighty, and that I I felt and have experienced it while recording in America, in San Francisco, my second album, Ethereal Rhythms. When I was recording Ethereal Rhythms, uh, there was not much place in the studio, so I happened to sit in the singer booth, and I was not able to see Zakir Bhai while recording, and Zakir Bhai was not able to see me. So we both played in the headphone, and without looking at each other, and in a one take, our recording was okay. One take, no retake. So I was doing some fancy things like rhythmic complex things, and Zakir Bhai played exactly what I was thinking. So I thought, how could he read my mind? If he was looking at me, obviously he can see my body language, my facial expressions, or something that I am signing to him, or something like that. But he was blessed by Bhagwan. He was blessed by Khuda. He was blessed by Almighty. Something that made Zakir Hussain one and only one in the world. And I think it's my personal loss. And he went too early. I mean, we should have had more music from him, more guidance, more such exciting things which he would always do with me. So I think it's very personal loss to me.
Yeah. Coming to your own personal record, sir, can you tell me more about that?
I have met with Guru's Ashirwad many awards, many such things. I was nominated for Grammy with Bela Fleck uh, in Tabula Rasa album, and then I played in Hollywood film, a very little portion, but I was featured in Primary Colors, John Travolta. And Mike Nichols was the director. Mike Nichols. John Travolta was actor. I'm sorry. So let me just correct it. So many things happened, but recent achievement excites me so much. On 15th December in Gwalior Tansen Samaro, I have composed the largest Indian instruments band called Samvet, and that Mr. Richard came from London, from Guinness Book of World Record, and my name is entered officially on 15th of December, just 15 days ago, uh, in the Guinness Book of World Record. My composition and conducted by me, and I played with the orchestra with everyone. So I think last time I attempted with the Venunath, but it officially could not go due to many reasons. That because they check every detail before giving you the world record. They put a band on your wrist, and they with the QR code they check everything. So this time, Mr. Richard found it that in the world it has never been done. So I thank my audience, my fans, that I'm a Guinness Book record holder now officially. And of course, I want to thank Indian government of giving me Sangeet Natak Academy Award. How can I forget that? Because that comes from whole India. Because government just puts a stamp on it, but it is my audience, my music lovers, that I was nominated for Best Flute Player of that year, and I got Sangeet Nata Academy Award. When you win Academy Award, that increases that your confidence, and that gives a lot of incentivity to work more and more on your subject. So that award came in 2015 from Indian government. Pranav Mukherjee was Rashtrapati at that time, and he gave me that award. Samved, first thing I will say, Samved was so important because Sangeet Samrat Tansen was a court musician, as you know. He was a Akbar Badshah ka one of the nine jewels, nine Ratna, nau Ratna mein se he was one of the Ratnam of Tansen. So Sangeet Samrat Tansen created few ragas in his lifetime, and to do orchestra on those ragas have been never done. So I am Madhya Pradesh government chose me out of all the great musicians in India, and that initially put a lot of pressure on me, and also I was honored at the same time. So I was writing day and night music. One night I wrote up to 4 a.m. in the morning, 6 hours continuously, because there are sitar, there are flute, there are violin, there are many Indian musicians playing in that orchestra. So some way it was a huge challenge for me to, and those three ragas of Tansen was Mia Malhar, Mia Kitodi, and Darbari. To include Darbari in that was a really challenge. How to bring Darbari उसमें वो बनाने के लिए बना सकते हैं कोई भी musician, but to merge, but to sound one in because of, so it's a immense uh, knowledge and humbleness, and as you said, accolades are definitely boost your confidence. Accolades are there in my life, huge accolades, huge award, huge achievements, but it is an ocean. It makes you even more humble because you owe a lot to Almighty. It's not your achievement, it is His achievement. So every time I'm a Krishna Bhakta, so I give all the credit to all the time to Banke Bihari ji of Vrindavan that you played the flute, I didn't play. If I would have played, I would have not played so well. When you play, then you play the best. I become the instrument and you play through me. How spiritual, how divine is that? That you surrender yourself to the subject. That's why in many of my interviews all around the world, you will see me talking that when youngster ask me, sir, give me a message that we can carry on, we can remember, which can help us in the career. I say, don't run behind the success, run behind the subject. If you do the subject well, success will follow you.
So, how have you seen? I'm going to go to the instrument now. How have you seen the flute evolve over time through the generations? How have you seen the instrument evolve and the acceptance evolve in the world?
Evolution is great, absolutely, because initially flute is the oldest instrument in the planet because it's a grassroots level instrument. The bamboos were always there when forests were there, when nature was there, bamboos were there. So if we connect with Bhagwan Krishna, so I would say And the research says that flute was existing even before Lord Krishna. So flute was always played. And then Swargiya late Pandit Pannalal Ghosh in 1937, he brought this instrument into classical music. And after that, Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia ji took to every hook and corner in the world, right? And then I came in the picture in early 80s. People accepted me and started calling me style maker. So after me, Rupak Kulkarni, Rakesh Chaurasia, all these young boys came into the picture. So it evolved like anything. And there is a lot of contribution of film industry, which we keep forgetting giving credit to. I'll tell you how. If I was playing Yaad Aa Rahi Hai Teri Yaad, so the song doesn't start right away. It starts with da ra ra. I would have played for you.
I actually wanted to ask you that. That would you be willing to play a few lines? I was actually going to ask you that.
Shall I do?
Yes, please, please, sir.
I have
You know,
I have my flute for you and for my audience through your platform. I very humbly want to play that small piece, and you will see if that flute is not played in the beginning, that song would not sound that good. So it starts like this. Dun, 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 dun. याद आ रही है. Then याद आ रही है. Lata ji and Amit Kumar enters. Same thing happened. R.D. Burman told me, Ronu, in Bengali he said, ये गाना जितना पॉपुलर होगा कुछ ना कहो उतना ही तेरा फ्लूट भी पॉपुलर हो जाएगा. Now people remember me, call me R.D. Burman's कुछ ना कहो is Ronu Majumdar. So कुछ ना कहो. So film industry also helped flute to evolve a lot in the lighter side of music. And how can we forget contribution of R.D. Burman, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, and later on A.R. Rahman using Bombay theme uh, in the film Bombay. So how can we forget their contribution? And now every second child in India wants to learn flute. And in my Ronu Majumdar Flute Foundation, how many students I'm teaching? I'm teaching in American students also online and offline I'm teaching. So my institution is doing so well.
what has it taken you to take the flute to that level? What are the kind of practical challenges that you've faced when taking the flute to a global stage?
In India, actually, people appreciated so much. In the beginning stage, because I was not a famous father son, so obviously I had no backing of a superstar. Like if you are son of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, son of any Ustad Amjad Ali Khan or somebody, so there is always early acceptance in the field. So people think nepotism was only uh, there in the film industry, but no, it was there in everywhere. And I don't blame that I have been victim of nepotism at some point. but I say that gave me more confidence. So in the beginning, because I was not a nepo kid, so I had to go a lot of hard way. But playing flute and acceptance was never a challenge, because when I got the stage finally, people loved me. But to go to the stage, it was hell of a journey. So that acceptance was easy for me in the film line, but not in the classical. Film line, there was no politics. Film line, what happened? If you play well, right away, overnight, people start calling you. And that's what happened with R.D. Burman. When I played this song, Yaad Aa Rahi Hai, overnight, this messenger culture was there that time. Messenger started spreading my name. Oh, Ronu Majumdar, he is the best flute player. Suddenly have come in the film industry. Just let's call him. So Lakshmikant Pyarelal also started calling me. Ravindra Jain started calling me. So there was no such thing कि ये किसका बेटा है. You know, वो चीज जो होती है ना, वो फिल्म लाइन में मुझे तो एटलीस्ट आई वुड से वेरी प्राउडली दैट even Asha Bhosle would come to my home, and I would go to Prabhu Kuch to meet Lata Mangeshkar ji and Asha Bhosle very closely. I never had this question that you are son of somebody, your background. So where you come from, the big family, first family of the industry, those words, sentences I never heard. You are good means you are good. So in classical, I did face a lot of challenges, but I, my mother and my baba always said कि आग को कोई दबा नहीं सकता. तो वो जो फ्रस्ट्रेशन आना चाहिए, आ सकता है, that never came to me. And that depression, I never went to depressions. I kept struggling and waiting for my day that I would get the stage. And one day it so happened, again, Bharat Ratna Pandit Bhimsen Joshi. Can you imagine? Uh, he heard me in Bombay. I was playing for Dr. Prabha Atre, and he heard my alap on the big flute. And he told his assistant, Dr. Gokhale in Marathi, he said, Gokhale, yancha number gya. Means inka number le lo. So I understood that I will get the chance in Savai Gandharv festival. Something told me inside that Pandit ji, Bhimsen Joshi ji is asking for my number, means I'm going to get the opportunity now. And that made me popular in whole Maharashtra. That was the truth, true of our classical music field. Once you are featured in Savai Gandharv Mahotsav festival, whole Maharashtra will know, because 15,000 people listening to you in a huge ground, and they will, of course, listen, appreciate if you are good enough, and then they will do mouth publicity, right? As we say that best publicity is the word of mouth. So when if people see my interview with you, yeah, if they keep sharing the link, if they like it, just imagine how many people will get to see our interview. So I'm telling you what has happened, what is truth. So those things happen with me, and I owe a lot of to Dr. Al Subramaniam, the king of violin. He always supported me and gave me opportunity. Last year, uh, as you know, I was featured in Womat Festival, which is world's most famous festival, called Womadilate in because it is done. Of course, it started in London, Reading, but also it went to Australia, Adelaide. So Womad became Womadilate. Womadilate means Womad in Adelaide. So Dr. Saab gave me opportunity. So there are, and in South India, if you say who is Bhimsen Joshi of South India, so definitely Dr. Bal Murli Krishna. So Dr. Bal Murli Krishna ji sang Jugalbandis with me, and he said, "Your sound," because he had a baritone voice, very deep. So he would sing Jugalbandi with me. He never asked me, "Who is your father? Which family legacy you are coming from? Why your father is doctor and you are a flute player?" So those questions many people also didn't believe in. So it was like a mix. So I got those people in my life also. I must when I talk about the bitter part of my life, then at the same time I must say that I got people who were really generous people and fantastic human being and superstars. Amitabh Bachchan ji's film I was playing, I want to share this film. Though that film was not didn't do well, uh, that movie was film महान. उसमें अमित जी का ट्रिपल रोल था. So Amit ji came to the studio film center. I was playing background music when he was rising on the hills on a very bad condition. That was the scene, and my flute was there. He hugged me and called me in his house. So मैं उनके घर भी गया, उनसे मिला और बहुत आशीर्वाद उनके फादर से भी मुझे मिला. हरिवंश राय बच्चन जी से भी मुझे ब्लेसिंग मिला और बहुत अच्छा प्यार. जया दीदी तो एकदम ही फैमिली टाइप ही है. शी इज एन एंजल. जया दी वी कॉल इन बंगाली, वी कॉल इट जया दी, जया बच्चन. So she is what she is. I mean, I have a huge respect for her. Jayadi, I send my pranam from here. You are a very important person in my life.
So, in one line, if I was to ask you what makes a legend a true legend, what would you say?
People make you legend. First of all, it's people who start calling you legend. But what you do that makes you legend, how people decide that this guy is a legend. Because legend is not decided by the age, because you, Srinivas, was younger than me and he became legend. So your craftsmanship, your subject, when you start contributing to the subject, you become legend. If you are a copycat, you are not legend. You are not style maker. You are not contributing to the subject. When you create something which younger people can follow your footstep, you become legend. So, like people, I'm very humbled when people call me legendary Ronu Majumdar. Since last 5 years, I become very shy and very humble. But people say that 7-hole technique you popularized when I use this pinky in the flute. That Panalalji played, but I popularized it in the younger generation. So this is contribution. People were playing only 6-hole. So I popularized this small hole also. So, and many flute players are following my style because I made this Shankh Basuri, 3.5 feet long, which is the ala played in the lower octave. तो क्या होता है, आपको लोग बोलते हैं ये लेजेंड है, हम इनको फॉलो करेंगे, तो आप लेजेंड बनते हैं. लेजेंड बनाए नहीं जाते, लेजेंड बन जाते हैं. तो आपको खाली अवार्ड से लेजेंड नहीं होगा, लेजेंड होगा आपके कंट्रीब्यूशन से. कंट्रीब्यूशन जब बड़ा होगा तो you become legend.
What is the science behind the instrument itself, and what does it do to any individual who practices it?
साइंस तो फ्लूट का कुछ डिसाइड नहीं था, बिकॉज इट्स अ फोक इंस्ट्रूमेंट. एनीबडी वुड मेक सारे गामा पाधा निसा बोलेंगे तो that can be sa also, that can be sa also, that can be sa. And folk people always did all hold you close and then that becomes sa. So Pannalal Ghosh decided that this will be Sa. 3 hole open and 3 close. That is the science. And the distance from this hole to this hole and this hole to the mouthpiece has to be same. That is science. And one thing, scientifically, I'll say that when you play the flute, your lungs becomes empty within seconds. You can hold a note maybe 30 seconds. If you are good at 40 seconds, not more. So one has to, because in vocal also you don't waste so much of air. See, you don't waste. But in flute, all the air is gone. So continuously breathing, breathe out has to be done. So I would, through your platform, I would like to say that anybody is practicing flute must do pranayam, yoga sadhana. Unless and until you do yoga sadhana, you can't survive long hours of playing. One concert I played in Sydney, 10 hours non-stop. I started 9 or 10 in the night and 6:30 in the morning I finished. Alone, no flute support. Of course, I was much younger that time and I was just 25. But still, a 25 years old boy is also cannot play 10 hours. Because I was from childhood was doing pranayam. So I without tiring, I did. And then after that, I caught a flight. I took a flight back to India. No rest. So that kind of power one has to generate before touching this instrument. If you play some film song, Roj Roj Aankhon Tale, for just 3 minutes, तो उतना मुश्किल नहीं है. For to play classical music for hours, तो उसके लिए power चाहिए. So I would tell youngsters, please in the morning in empty stomach, just do pranayam, then start practicing the flute. Anulom Vilom, Ujjayi and Bhastrika. And Kapal Bhati, of course. Sorry. Start with Kapal Bhati, then Anulom Vilom, then Bhastrika, and then Ujjayi. Ujjayi will give you the long breath. Yeah.
What role do you think silence plays in music? That pause, that balance between when you pick up on a tune and when you take a pause and then you go back. What role and how do you master that craft? How have you navigated that?
Oh my God. Such a good question you asked. This is very emotional for me to answer. Eh, what is real music? Pause between silence between two phrases. If you don't know the importance of silence, your phrases will not create any effect on people, on you first. So, and that I have learned more and more while accompanying Ghazal Samrat Jagjit Singh ji. So I was playing, I'll tell you one incident very quickly. I was playing in Mirza Ghalib serial and he was singing that famous ghazal, रोएंगे हम हजार बार कोई हमें सताए क्यों तो कोई हमें सता. So after कोई हमें, that silence he was bringing, that pause, that was goosebumps आ गए मुझे कि दिल ही तो है जो संग किस दर्द से भर ना आए क्यों रोएंगे हम हजार बार कोई हमें सताए क्यों. तो जो लिरिक्स है वो तो मिर्जा गालिब का है, हु वाज द शायर ऑफ शायर्स, यू नो, व्हेन वी से म्यूजिशियन ऑफ द म्यूजिशियंस. सो शायर के शायर कौन थे? मिर्जा गालिब थे. मगर उसको लाइफ किसने दिया? तो जगजीत सिंह साहब ने दिया. तो जगजीत जी से मैंने ये सीखा. आपने इतना इमोशनल क्वेश्चन पूछा. द साइलेंस बिटवीन, द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ साइलेंस, आई, and more I started practicing this, and in my concert, you will see there are very intricate silence are there. Like I will play one phrase for you, Pilu, rag Pilu. And this rag has lot of dard, lot of pain and separation kind of feeling. When somebody is separating from you, that feeling of rag Pilu comes. But see the silence after the Komal Gandhar. So that tells the story of a person suffering from separation of anyone in his life. So that's a balmy effect of music, which gives you the strength to carry on whenever you. So this music has a healing power. So those silences are so effective, so effective. They have they're more important than the actual phrases. Very good question. Now I know your knowledge is not limited.
You mentioned the Guru Shishya relationship and that model of learning. In today's times, how important do you think, or rather, what do you have to say about the value of that kind of a relationship in today's times?
Yes, today's lifestyle is very different and very challenging uh, for Guru Shishya Parampara and Gurukul as such. Because those days, Gurukul is also provide Veda learning, and you learn the subject along with your education. Now, Guru Shishya Parampara has to be little modern. The format has to be changed little bit, and that's why in my foundation, Guru, because this classical music cannot be learned perfectly in the universities or music colleges, because it is one-to-one experience. Your guru tells you, oh, this place you have not played well. This play, the praise has to sound like this. This gamaka, if what you are playing is not, you have to force the gandhar, use the tongue little hard to get that kind of intensity in the phrase. So you cannot learn that in the. You can learn the theoretical part. Of course, you go and become doctor of the doctorate and PhD, but they also just when it comes to the practical way, they cannot play well. So what we suggest at this Guru Shishya Parampara importance at present, come to Guru's house, to your college schools, and learn 4 5 hours one to one with your Guru. And that's what I'm doing. That's why my students are doing so well. Vipul Vora in Gujarat, and even from Shimla, Haridat is a number one. Haridat Bharadwaj is a number one flute player in Himachal Pradesh at present is my student. So they have learned the subject with me, not in the school colleges, sitting with me, coming all the way from Shimla to Mumbai, staying with me and learning the subject deeply.
And has technology helped in any way, sir, to extend this influence? Or have you seen the role of technology, or how do you see the role of technology facilitate that contribution?
Yeah, technology has helped immensely, immensely, because when I teach on Google Link or something like that, then it is almost, I know that one-to-one sitting, nothing can match that kind of interaction. But here, at least 50% I can deliver. I can see the fingering on the screen, and many students. Uh, one white American student has learned so much from the Corona time. He started with me, and he is still continuing. He's saying, Guruji, Corona is gone now. You are again busy because in the Corona period you had no concert. You were available. So, so he's playing Rag Darbari. His name is Jesse Stun, and he has learned in the California, the Sarod from Ali Akbar College of Music from Ali Akbar Khan Saab's son. So, but technology is helping so much. And I am in India, sitting in Bombay, in Mumbai, and teaching him online. And he's improving, sending his final product. Then I'm criticizing, no, this is not like that. So he's mastering the subject. At least this distance is not bringing so much of limitation in our life. This online teaching is doing great in my teaching, but I suggest them to see me once at least in 3 4 months to correct certain things one to one. And that's what they do. They come to India and visit me, uh, stay at the hotel, and you know to check what they have learned, because as I said, nothing can beat the one to one experience.
Can you tell me something about that meditative state or that healing state that you mentioned that one experiences when they work with music at a regular frequency?
Yeah, meditative state uh, is a personal experience. That's why in before the concert, I become silent and I just think about the rag and myself, we become one with each other. And there is a small mindset every artist needs to experience, is that when you play, you if you try to please your audience, you you are never able to do that. You will never. You have to please yourself because Atma is Paramatma. So when you play, actually, if you close your eyes, go inside, if you please yourself, they are all pleased right away. That is meditative state. And any distractions, any sound problem, any PA system problem, they are not going to distract you if you are in a meditative state of mind. And that comes with huge practice, that loneliness. I always say practice, abhyas, sadhana is a lonely experience. One person enters in your practice room, then it becomes a performing, because you unknowingly start trying to play for that other guy. Unknowingly, it becomes a performance, because when you play alone, you deal with your mistakes like a child. You don't think, oh, I'm a Pandit Ronu Majumdar or Pandit so and so or Ustad or Khan Sahab. You don't think that. You think that I am a child of the subject. I'm dealing with my mistakes. Let me correct. Let me just polish this. Let me just correct this swara which is going besura, out of tune. So you deal with those subjects. So practice a lonely experience, and that loneliness brings that meditative state of mind.
My last question to you is, when you think about leaving behind your legacy or making your contributions, what is it that you look forward to?
I always think that life is short and art is long. Art is something which is not your own property. You have taken from someone, and now you have to pass it on to others. And my legacy comes. with the family background. Now my son will not be asked that who is your father, because he can easily say I'm son of Pandit Ronu Majumdar. So, and I personally feel that my son and my student, I treat them equally, because legacy can be continued by your student and son as well. So it's not true that your son is only going to take the legacy. Your student is no less. So Guru's duty in a spiritual world, spiritually, Guru should never differentiate between his own son or daughter or student. They, they should be treated on equal level. So I'm confident, and that when I won't be there, these people will continue my legacy, and they are doing so well already.
Thank you. Really means a lot that you shared all this with me. Thank you. We are honored.
Thank you, Karishma. It was a divine experience for me to talk to you, and hope people see it, because they would get a lot of knowledge from this interview, and this was one of the best that I ever did. Thank you so much.